Well, hello, this is Heather Pickin, and welcome to my channel, Fearless Vision. I am your fearless leader to help you to get out of your own way, break through your fear so that you can go to that next level in every area of your life using cutting edge neuroscience. So what I love to do is to share with you the latest in brain, I like to say brain technology, and give you an upgrade in your brain, okay? And today we're going to be talking about how women can own their value. I am going to focus on three areas that you probably will want to work on. Relationships, owning your value in relationships, owning your value in your career, and if you're an entrepreneur, owning your value in your business. I work with high-level executives and entrepreneurs all around the world, and I'm just so passionate about sharing this information. So before we begin, if you want to enter my drawing for my book, one of my latest books, The La Dolce Vita Formula, A Woman's Guide to Living a Fearless and Fabulous Life, comment below and put La Dolce Vita. Also, thumbs up on this video because more people will learn about this video in YouTube land, and subscribe to my YouTube channel because you'll be notified when I release my videos. And if you want a copy of this book right now in digital form, you can go to fearlessandfabulousbook.com. For a limited time, this in digital form is only 99 cents. So make sure you go there and grab this book for only 99 cents. If it's more than that, usually I'll raise the price for $10. To me, that's really inexpensive for the information that has taken me years to collect and put into a book format that I feel is just so empowering for women. Okay, okay, let's dive right into today's topic about own your value. How do I know so much about this subject? Well, I will tell you, my whole life's journey and mission is about really understanding who I was as a woman and really, just standing in that power to be myself and be unwavering. And I find a lot of times what happens with women is that if they don't own their value, and this is internal, this is not external, they will attract its opposite. So I want you to think right now, I want you to look in those three areas. We're going to focus on those three areas right now. Where do you feel that you're not owning your value? Are you not owning your value in your relationships? What does that look like? What that looks like is you're in a relationship right now where you feel like every time you say something that you're dismissed, right? Maybe you're in a relationship where someone, that partner, they don't get you, right? And they keep trying to change you. And the more they try to change you, you just feel like, oh my gosh, like I cannot be me. And I will tell you, if you can't be you, then you can't be free. So I need to be me so that I can be free. That is a mantra that you must tattoo in your brain in order to let go of those energy drains that are no longer serving you in the area of your relationships. So let's talk about relationships, then we're going to go to career, and then we're going to go to business. So I want you to identify if this is an issue for you. I can speak about this so much because for many years, I did not own my value in a relationship. And what happened is I attracted the opposite. So I kept attracting these men in the form of a relationship to get me to wake up, to master and own my value so that I would no longer be in that pattern. It's a pattern, okay? It's a reoccurring pattern that I had to break. And what happens is that this pattern is actually subconscious, right? So you have this thing going on, like, I know I shouldn't be in this relationship, but I'm in it anyways. It's called cognitive dissonance, when you know you should be doing something different, but you're not doing it. And so why is that? Well, there is an inner conflict going on in your subconscious mind. So if you want to own your value in a relationship, you absolutely must do this internally. You can't expect the other person to change. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. When a woman owns her value in a relationship, she's either going to transform that relationship where she can speak her mind, right? Because you don't want to walk on eggshells, or you're going to leave that relationship. I've actually helped women, and I work with very smart women, women that have master's degrees and PhDs, that get themselves into these relationships and they have a hard time getting out because they are not internalizing their value. Okay, so you just want to identify, do I have this issue? Am I not standing in my full power and potential? Now, I will say this about relationships. Relationships should have equal support and challenge. So don't expect to get in a relationship where everything's 100%. Why? Because everyone has two sides of them. So you have to have an equal percentage of both support and challenge. If there's too much challenge in a relationship, that is not going to be a healthy relationship, and actually the opposite too. So you don't want someone supporting you on every single thing where you are really staying juvenile in that relationship and you're not growing and evolving. I'm not going to get into that too much today, but I just want you to do an inner check. Am I owning my value in a relationship? Now, I'm going to get to the question at the very end that you need to ask yourself in order to transform the value in your relationships and the other areas that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so let's go to the next area, and that is your career. So as a woman, I think it's so important. If we're going to move forward as women, you know what we have to do? We have to stand in our power. We have to internalize our value. Yes, there are things that are going on an outer level that feel unfair. I want to put that aside, okay? Because the work that I do is I help you to change within so that the outside matches, right? So if you feel like you have a disconnect right now in your career where you're not feeling valued, you're not getting paid what you feel that you're worth, there is an inner conflict going on. And so think about it. If you have an inner conflict going on, it's going to be very challenging for you to actually ask for the raise. You're not going to feel confident in articulating what you want and actually get it. So what I like to do is to go within and first identify the problem of where you're not owning your value in your career. Do you feel like you're not getting paid enough? Do you feel like, you're not getting enough credit and visibility? So just identify what that issue is, because I'm going to come back to that at the last part of this video and show you how to internalize your values, to align yourself with what I call your fearless vision. Okay. So in my programs, what I teach is how to go around the 7 areas of life and change any area of your life that feels out of whack. It feels radically imbalanced, that you want to raise your score in. Okay. And that's really the key. That is how we're going to get ahead as women. I totally believe that we can have it all, but we have to internalize it. So it's this whole subconscious program that we absolutely must master if we want to shift mass consciousness around this whole idea. Okay. Now, the last thing is, if you're an entrepreneur, particularly service-based business, I work with a lot of coaches and consultants that want to maybe charge more, or maybe they're new to their business. And I will tell you, the way that I help them to either master their sales is to change how they see themselves. Okay. When you change the way in how you see yourself and how you own your value, the entire world will change. Now, if we're talking about the context of a business, when you change on an inner level, you'll attract better clients. You'll actually be able to stand in your power and get exactly the fees that you command. So this is not about writing a different number arbitrarily on a piece of paper, okay? You actually must internalize this first in order for you to actually go to that next level. I have worked with women in all of these 3 areas to get exactly what they want, but it's within. It's all this inner work. And what I do is I actually help them to make connections, new connections in their brain, so that they start shifting into this super confident mode. Now, would you agree? If you're not confident in asking for the raise, if you're not confident in saying, this is how much I charge, then you're not going to get it. So would you agree that this inner program has everything to do with confidence level, right? And how you're really owning it and speaking your truth. And of course, getting to, when you're in a relationship, if you're not speaking your truth as a woman in a relationship, then you are going to resent that person. And most of all, you're going to resent yourself. Okay. So I hope this helped as far as going around and identifying some of the specific things that are happening that you want to shift. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about is this one question. Now, when I work with clients, I have this in-depth program. If you buy the book, Fearless at fearlessatfeministbook.com, you'll learn more about this program. But I go through an in-depth process on how to raise your fees, how to increase your value. So I want to kind of condense this because we don't have a lot of time to focus on this one statement. I'm going to explain how the statement works, but I want you to write this down. Okay, so the question is, I should say it's a question, how do I bring value to X? Okay, how do I bring value to X? So let's go back to relationships. If you don't see that you are valuable in a relationship, what happens is that person that you're in a relationship with will be a mirror to how you feel about yourself, okay? So what you need to do in this process is to actually write, I tell clients to write this down. So this is just a sliver of my extended program, but I want you to write down, where is my value? How am I of value to so-and-so in my relationship? And you want to start writing it down. Why do you want to write it down? Now, here's how it works with your brain. I work with cutting edge neuroscience. This brain technology works so amazingly well. Clients shift just like that. I can transform any situation as long as they are wanting to do the work. Okay, it's not going to work if you don't do the work. So you want to write down all of those ways on how you are valuable. Here's what happens with your brain is that your brain, when you're writing it down, I prefer writing it down analog instead of doing it on a piece of paper. Because with your brain, when you're actually writing stuff down, you're using your motor neurons, okay? And then when you're looking at what you're writing and you're recalling, you're actually also using your sensory neurons in your brain. Now, those two neurons help you to shift your perception. Your perceptions create your reality. So when you shift your perception on your value, therefore, you can get what you want. So either you're going to stay in that relationship and it's going to evolve because you're owning your value, right? Or you're going to get out of that relationship. That is exactly what I find happens with the clients that I coach when they have this unbalanced area, when they're not owning their true value and their potential. Okay, so how does this statement work, or this question work as it applies to your career? So the same thing, you would ask yourself, how am I a value to, what's the value that I bring to X company, right? You could also go a couple steps further and look at people above you, how you value to them. And you want to list those. You want to exhaust all possibilities until you see the value. I've had people write down 100 things until they shift. Now, I know this stuff takes time, but the brain is neuroplastic, meaning it can change very quickly if you ask and prompt it the right questions. I've been trained in a specific methodology using this technology where this change can happen very quickly. But you can do this work. If you do it, you will find that everything starts shifting, and then you raise your value. When you raise your value, every single area of your life shifts. This is mind-blowing. This is why I love doing this work, because it absolutely works. I find doing this work is more powerful than reciting any kind of affirmations, because this is working with your specific blueprint, what I call your unique formula. And I actually talk about it in my book, The La Dolce Vita Formula. Okay, so how do I bring value to X in my business? You want to get specific on how you do that, exhaust all possibilities. And what's really cool, you've done it to where it doesn't feel like it's running your psychology. It doesn't feel like it's taking up what I call mental real estate in your mind, that mind chatter, like you can't shut it off. And so this is a great way to dissolve that negativity, those feelings, and just allow yourself to kind of like let go. Okay. So do that if you're focusing on getting a raise. This is why I would always tell women, instead of just putting a number on a piece of paper, you've got to do the inner work. You must make the connections in your brain first before you start putting the number down. And I actually help people to come up with those calculations. They can quantify that by doing the inner work. It actually comes to you. Then the last thing that we talk about, let's use this question again. How do I bring value to my clients if I am a coach or consultant? How do I bring value? If you can't see it, you know what's going to happen? When you get on the phone with someone, you're not going to ask for the sale. Or let's just say you want to raise your prices, you're not going to do it. Why? Because this is internal. Your perception creates your reality, period. So if you have a thought that says, who am I to charge this? That tells me you haven't done this inner work, okay? I just got done explaining how you change your perceptions by those specific neurons in doing this exercise. And what I have found is when clients do this exercise, they start attracting clients out of the blue. They start attracting and aligning with opportunities that, were maybe always there, or they just kind of seem like, wait a minute, how did this come about? And so when you shift yourself, you find everyone else shifts around you. So you want to practice that with your business, get specific and measure it. I'm all about, don't believe me. You want to measure it. So when I'm working with clients, whether it's privately or in my groups, I have a system for measuring everything. Of how do I know with what I'm doing with this exercise is actually changing my outer reality? So there are things that you can look for, like how do you feel? Are you making more money? You'll have these little, what I call synchronicities, so that you can start seeing that your brain is changing. And I'll tell you, if you dedicate yourself to really mastering your mindset, you will move forward as a woman, and you'll start changing mass consciousness. Think about this. If this video is getting out to women just like you, that are ambitious, that you're like, oh my gosh, I want so much more. I wanna have it all, right? I wanna have it all. Then that to me, if I change one person, that creates a ripple effect. People start liking this video and commenting. That to me, I know my value. I know my worth. I know this message is powerful, and I know it works. I know it works because I've worked with women all around the world, all different ages. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens to you. But what matters is that you own your value as a woman. And so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Until next time, live fearlessly.